What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, we have even more rumors surrounding the New England Patriots as we inch closer and closer to not just roster cutdowns, but the start of the 2022 season. Now, reports are coming out that the New England Patriots are receiving several trade calls from around the league on their wide receivers, believe it or not. Now, as a fan base, I know over the last few years, we've looked at this wide receiver core and said, it needs to get better, it needs to get better, it needs to get better, and we're always the ones looking into trading for wide receivers. I don't think any of us expected to see the day where the Patriots would be receiving calls on their wide receivers due to the depth that they have. But now, according to Doug Kyed, the Patriots are fielding calls from needy wide receiver teams this summer. As of right now, though, I will say the New England Patriots have turned down these offers. But with that being said, guys, this is a bidding war. These are teams that are going to try to get the most out of players that they potentially trade. I mean, if you were pawning off something, would you take the first offer that's given to you? Or would you try to get the maximum value for it? Play a little hardball. That's something to keep in mind. League-wide, we always hear about teams turning down offers, but then the next week they're trading the player. So you can never really take that, into account. But at the end of this video, I will give my thought on if I believe they will trade someone. And you look at this current Patriots wide receiver depth chart, and there's a lot of great players. And unfortunately, there's a lot of receivers here, or a lot of players in general, but there's a lot of receivers here that aren't going to be able to make this final roster. You have guys like Devontae Parker, Nelson Aguilar, Tre Nixon, Josh Hammond, Jakobi Meyers, Tyquan Thornton, Lil'Jordan Humphrey, Kendrick Bourne, Kristen Wilkerson. Not all of those guys are going to make this roster. Now, overall, I do believe that the potential of a trade was a lot more likely before Tyquan Thornton got injured. I think Tyquan Thornton was really thrusting himself into a starting role for the Patriots in his rookie season. In week one, he was going to be a key piece for this offense, and I think that was going to push somebody down on this depth chart or off of this depth chart that could have gotten somebody more likely to be traded. But with that injury, this does thrust somebody else to making the Patriots 53. Now, I would say the biggest rumor we're hearing when it comes to a receiver that could be traded for the Patriots is Nelson Aguilar. Now, this does make a lot of sense, because, one, the Patriots do have Tyquan Thornton, who, like I said, I think this trade would have been a lot more likely if Thornton didn't get injured. But the Patriots have two speedsters on their offense with Aguilar and Thornton. They usually don't keep multiple speedsters. I like the idea of them doing so, but they usually don't, which does make Nelson Aguilar expendable, not to mention around his $9 million salary for this upcoming season. The Patriots are currently very, very close to the cap space right now. They would like to free up some more cap space. Because, one, let's keep in mind, roster cutdowns are going to happen. There's going to be some surprise players getting cut and some surprising players that get traded. The Patriots could be in the mix for some of those guys, but they're going to need money to make some last-minute moves. Not to mention, they're going to need about $5 to $10 million just throughout the regular season to pay the incentives that they owe the players that are currently on their roster. With that being said, moves are going to have to be made to free up some more cap space. Moving on from somebody like Nelson Aguilar, and that $9 million salary could be a great way in doing so. Not to mention the fact that I do think Aguilar's trade value 100% has gone up with how he's performed this offseason. As Patriots fans and as NFL fans in general, it's easy to want to trade a player when he's not doing well, but we have to remember is that when a player is, in a positive way, he's in the news, he's performing well, he's being talked about throughout the media in a positive way, that is going to rise his market, and that is the exact situation that has happened for Aguilar. He didn't really have too much of a role with the Patriots in 2021, but so far this offseason, he is looking like a day and night difference. He's looking spectacular, which 100% is going to raise his current value. Now, I'm not going to touch on Kendrick Bourne really because I did make a video on him, so you guys can just check that video out. I know some people have thrown out the idea of Jakobi Meyers being someone who could potentially be traded. I personally don't see it. We know the Patriots want to get a long-term deal done with Jakobi Meyers. Now, hey, maybe there is a world that this does happen, There is not a good wide receiver market in this upcoming free agency. At the end of the 2022 season, Jakobi Meyers is looking like the best receiver on that market, so he very well could get overpaid if the Patriots cannot get an extension done with him prior. But he's been rolling with the ones all off season long. He's led the Patriots in receptions and receiving yards the last 2 seasons. He's a reliable target for the Patriots. With the issues they have with injuries at wide receiver, I just would like to believe that Jakobi Meyers is a guy that they would like to keep. He's been consistent each and every single year, and his production only gets better each and every single year. Where I could see a potential trade would be somewhere amongst the guys of a Tre Nixon, Lil'Jordan Humphrey, and Kristen Wilkerson. Now, unfortunately, with Kristen Wilkerson being injured, I think that does decrease his value, but it's only expected to be a concussion. It's already been about a week, so within, I would say, a couple more weeks, he will be back, and he should be ready for the start of the regular season if a team did want to add him. But with that being said, right now, it seems to be a race for one of those guys out of those 3 to make this final roster, which means 2 guys aren't, and the Patriots would have to straight up release them. And I don't know if these guys are going to make it past waivers. I think that there's a great chance that Lil'Jordan Humphrey will get claimed by a team. In fact, I think Lil'Jordan Humphrey has to be your favorite to make this Patriots final roster where he's going to get claimed. I think Tre Nixon has performed really well, that a team, potentially the Raiders, could take a flyer on him. And then Kristen Wilkerson is another guy that each and every single year has gotten better. And if it wasn't for that injury, I would say that it's a lock if the Patriots cut him, that another team would grab him. I think ultimately if you trade somebody like a Tre Nixon, Lil'Jordan Humphrey, or Kristen Wilkerson, you're not going to get much out of them. I think you'll get more for someone like a Lil'Jordan Humphrey, but at the end of the day, I think the Patriots would like to keep him due to his special teams ability and his ability on offense. But then you have somebody like Tre Nixon and Kristen Wilkerson. I feel like one of those guys could be on the outside looking in. That could be a low-key trade candidate for the Patriots. I think those guys will both get a little bit of buzz around the league, some interest, and maybe you're looking at like a conditional 5th to 7th round pick. So overall, at the end of the day, I don't expect the Patriots to trade any players specifically because of this Tyquan Thornton injury. I think that Aguilar very well could have been expendable, and this could have been a real storyline to look into if Tyquan Thornton didn't get injured. But at the end of the day, you need someone who's going to stretch the field for you, and without Nelson Aguilar, you don't have anyone who's going to bring speed to your offense. So there's really no one who's going to stretch the field and really require safety help over the top, whether that's playing, single high safety or 2 high safety defensively. I don't think we're going to see a key piece receiver-wise for the Patriots getting traded, but when it comes to one of these depth guys on the fringe who has been showing out this offseason, that could be somewhere where you're looking at a later round draft pick that could potentially become a trade for the Pats. Something that they've done in recent years with people like Duke Dawson and Keon Crossing, guys who have potential but haven't necessarily shown out that well for the Patriots to keep. They're on the fringe, they get traded, and you get a little something out of them. But what are your guys' thoughts on these rumors, and do you think the Patriots are going to trade any of their wide receivers? And if so, let me know who you think in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.